stimulus money came to the Linden houses, to the Pink houses, to the Cypress houses in East New York. They have new refrigerators, new stoves, and security cameras, and that means something to some of us in the hood who are organizing. That's the bottom line. Bottom line, I want to see a policy on Africa, Barack Obama. I don't want you to support the African man. Don't want no military bases in Africa. Don't like the fact that you killed 3 Somalians when they're trying to protect their waters from those who are dumping in Somalia and stealing their fish. We need a policy for the Caribbean Basin Initiative. We need a policy. Those things we could fight for. But the bottom line, it would have been worse under McCain and Palin. Would have been worse. So when we hear the analysis, they can't do it in isolation of the reality. Some of the people doing these deep analysis don't even vote. They ain't even down with the presidency, and that's all right. But if you ain't down with that, then you need to shut up and do something else. Don't come talking to us about Barack Obama. Let me say this to you. I guess I get tired of a lot of talk. I ain't anti-intellectual, but I'm sick of our intellectuals writing books, getting on TV, heavy analysis, and that doesn't translate to nothing in the hood. It doesn't translate to policies. It gets nothing out of the budget. It doesn't improve the material life of our people. White intellectuals like Newt Gingrich, when he does his policies and his philosophy and his deep analysis, he connects it to a political movement that gets 40 people elected to the Congress, and then his policy, his philosophy becomes the policy of the nation, and we have to suffer. When our intellectuals get deep, they entertain us, we get hand claps, they write books, they make money, they're on TV, and the hood stays the same. Stays the same. So I agree with most of the stuff the opposition said. Now what? Now what do? Take those people that Barack Obama got excited and gave some hope and organize them to do what you think they should do. Take those people that he did get excited, get them in organizations, get them active, get them mobilized and moving toward change. We got to change this stuff. We can't wait for Barack Obama to do anything, and don't give him a break. I agree when they say we should be demonstrating when he does something wrong. We should not sit back and not criticize him because he's black. And we can't wait. If you got 100 days to deal with Israel, then you can deal with Africa in 100 days. So while we have those legitimate criticisms, the question for me is Barack Obama better for us than Sarah Palin, the person who's in Alaska, don't even know where Russia is, or McCain, who's out of his mind? I'll take Barack Obama any day. We got work to do, brothers and sisters, and we can't move forward with intellectual armchair revolutionaries giving you deep analysis and no practical application of what can transform our neighborhoods, transform the hood. If it ain't gonna get back to Harlem and East New York and Bed-Stuy with some real, concrete, political action, then it's a nice, deep analysis that doesn't take us any place further than where we are now. So I say to you, let's not rest on Barack Obama. I'm glad he broke up the white male monopoly on the presidency. And at least they changed the occupancy of the White House. Good. So we can smash white male supremacy in the minds of our people. But now, like he said the night of his speech, the change is not him being in the White House. That is a chance for change. It is on us to rise up as a people, hold him accountable, hold our intellectuals accountable on doing something in our neighborhood to transform the hood. Power to the people, forward ever and backward never.
Seems like it's heating up a little bit in here. Our next speaker, Brother Jared Ball, is an assistant professor of communication studies at Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland. He is the host of a midday program called Jazz and Justice that comes out of DC's WPFW 89.3 FM, and he is the co-editor of VoxUnion.com. Please welcome him to the mic.
Good evening. Good evening. All right. I need the vibe a little bit, you know. I want to start off by giving thanks to those who organized this. I'm very appreciative for having been asked to join this panel. I'm enamored with the work that these folks have been doing and continue to do, and I hope to add some positive thoughts and contributions to that. Quickly, no, Obama is not good for black people. He is a neo-colonial president. In fact, the nation state itself isn't good for anybody except for the true minority, which is, of course, elite white men. So no president, given this structure, could be good for black people or anybody else. The question, slightly different than what we just heard, is not, is Obama better than Palin and McCain? It's, is he good for black people? And the structure itself is not good for black people, and in fact, the true majority of the people in this country and the people in this world. I want to borrow something I heard from Bob Brown a couple weeks ago, and I want to try to, as he said, shotgun some ideas. As an unreal revolutionary, I'm not shotgunning anything else, so let me try to at least shotgun some ideas. We don't know, nobody in this room, I would argue, could say with substance that they knew who Obama was before 2007. Fewer could say they knew who he was before 2004, which is evidence, I suggest, that he did not come from our movements, our struggles, and in fact was imposed. He is not a culmination of a movement. To prove me wrong, I would like to suggest that we try to raise up Brother Barron and develop him into a presidential candidate, since he does come from our struggles, and that would be evidence of some real change in this society, just as a suggestion. I want to shotgun this idea about intellectuals. Those of us in the hip-hop, so-called hip-hop activist community know this internal struggle that is the largest struggle that we've all been dealing with for a long time, that this idea, this tension between the so-called scholars and the scholars without portfolio, as they say. There are intellectual traditions, just like there are traditions in any other field of work. There is a warrior scholarship tradition that should not be lumped in with the ivory tower scholars on the Hill. And of course, people like Malcolm X come from that tradition, Dr. Clark comes from that tradition, Mama Marimba Ani comes from that tradition as well. So I don't want us all to be lumped in with this distant intellectual. Obama is the result of what Edward Bernays called the invisible government that works behind the scenes to provide us with the candidates from whom we are meant to select to give the appearance of having been involved in a process. It's also important to note that Edward Bernays' book, 1923, published called Propaganda, was used by Goebbels in the Nazi project as well, because it outlined how a government looking to impose its will on an unsuspecting populace could maneuver, including using this invisible government, which more recently by people like Paul Street and others has been called the hidden primaries, where people are selected in advance by the smallest cadres of the tiniest real elite in this society put out before us. That's why none of us who have been involved in activism or grassroots politics could say with any honesty or substance that we knew who he was particularly before 2004. A couple ideas I'd like to shotgun that are coming from my generation. Hip-hop scholar Jeff Chang has said that hip-hop now can grow up. With Obama in the White House. Now he will inspire a new form of hip-hop. Those of us who are aware of what hip-hop really is know full well that the version that is projected to the world is not